everybody. We're starting something a little different this week for There's a Book in My Nook. We're going to have where we sit next to each other so you can see both of us. We're going to talk about books and we're going to ask questions, and hopefully it'll be a little more entertaining and not so boring as we were told before that we were kind of boring. So I'm going to start off, and the first book that I'm talking about this week is Beauty by Nancy Olin. And this is basically a dark take on Snow White. And this is about Anna, and Anna idolizes her mother, who is very beautiful, and she's the queen. Well, the thing is with her mom, she loves Anna until Anna gets to be about 12, and she's at her coming out ball, and someone says that they think Anna's going to be even prettier than her mother, and then her mother decides she wants nothing to do with her anymore because she becomes too jealous. So in order for Anna to still have a relationship with her mom, which she wants desperately, she decides to make herself look horrible. So she gains a bunch of weight, she cuts her hair, she puts dirt on her face so she'll get acne, and she wears too small of clothes, anything to make herself look bad. And it works. After a while, her mom wants to start seeing her again and tells her she looks more beautiful than she ever has. Anna knows it's not true, but she doesn't care as long as her mom wants something to do with her. Well, then, just as she thinks her and her mom are on their way back to a great relationship, her mom sends her away to this special school for girls. And all of these other girls are there, and they're all beautiful. And Anna decides she's tired of looking the way she is. She wants to be beautiful too. What she doesn't realize is there's a price that all these girls are paying to become beautiful. I won't tell you what's going on at the school, but there's a reason all these beautiful girls were sent there, and there's a reason that they're all looking the way they do. It's a really different take on Snow White. It's kind of a short read, so that's a kind of a good thing too. I really liked it, and I'd give it a view. And if you like this type of book, which like I said is kind of a take on fairy tales, we have a bunch of others here at the library for you to check out too. There's two called The Princess of Glass and Princess of the Silver Woods, and these are both by Jessica Day George, and one is a take on Cinderella and the other is a take on Red Riding Hood. We also have, which you've probably heard of these are pretty popular, they're a sci-fi take also on Cinderella and also on Red Riding Hood, called Scarlet and Cinder, and these are by Marissa Meyer. There's also, Hero and Enchanted, and these are by Alethea Contis, and it's the story of 7 sisters, and they're all named after a different day of the week, which is kind of different, and they're all kind of a mishmash of fairy tales. The first one, Enchanted, is kind of a take on The Princess and the Frog, and then the second one is Hero. So there's lots of books you can see that are takes on fairy tales. So that's my first pick this week, and I will turn it over to Karen. Do you have any questions?
Are they just for women? I mean, men? Are there any men ones? I mean, like Prince?
I mean, there's prince in them, but I wouldn't say they're written from a print. More for girls.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is it the classic fairy tale, or is it?
Well, they've totally changed it.
They totally changed it. So this school, this beauty school, only the beautiful go there? So why did, if she was ugly, why did she get sent there?
Exactly. Well, all the other girls are pretty but her. But see, the advisor to the queen keeps telling her that no matter what she does, that the princess is going to pass the queen in her beauty. Mm-hmm. So the advisor tells her, even though you think she's not pretty now, you need to send her away.
But she won't have to pay her price because she's already naturally beautiful, right? All she has to do is take the dirt off, and
they were all naturally beautiful. You find out.
Oh.
There's a lot of hidden reasons as to why they were sent to this school, and the queen, of course, is behind all of it. So
basically, all these books are takes on fairy tales.
All the ones that I talked about are takes on different fairy tales. Some are a mishmash of fairy tales put together, and some are just a take on one fairy tale.
And then they all have the prince in them too.
Well, I haven't read all of them, but yes, I'm assuming the ones that I have. Now, this one did not have a prince. There is no prince in this one. It is purely about Snow White. There is no.
And I'm going to take a wild guess here and say that because these are older young adult books, that we don't have the happy ending ever after in the end.
I think some have a measure of happiness, but there's no riding away into the sunset sort of thing. I mean, it's kind of like there's happiness, but to a certain degree.
Right. Okay.
So a little different if you like fairy tales, and you want them to be a little bit more edgier and darker, this is the way to go. So they're pretty popular right now.
Okay, well, I do a theme with mine, and since we're doing this in the month of May, which is Memorial Day is in the month of May, I am doing a war, Americana soldier sort of theme. And so for my first, I'm doing books and movies. So the very first book I did was called Locomotive. And this book is on the New York Times bestseller list. And it starts out in the summer of 1989. The railroad has been completed, and now you get to take the journey on the first railroad traveling. And you go through the mountains and over the plains, and it talks about how the locomotive works and how the crew operates on it and what the crew's, the names of the crew are. And it talks about how all these families are going to get their very first time of traveling this new way. And it has lots of very, very good pictures. And I think a lot of little kids would really, really like this book.
Probably especially boys, too, with trains.
Well, yeah, I think...
not that girls don't like trains, but...
Right. And... yeah, it is geared more towards boys, but I think it's more towards the excitement of a new way of transportation that, you know, they had heard about the railroad being built, and it was who was going to get, you know, the first tickets to ride on this new, you know, thing. And it talks about how they built the bridges and how, you know, I mean, back in those days, you know, those bridges weren't exactly very sturdy.
No, they weren't very sturdy.
You know,
like no sides or anything.
I don't know if I would have been, you know, I'm kind of a conservative person. I don't think I would have been the very first one to get on the train. I think I would have waited a couple of years till it was a little more stable. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And your nails match the front of the book.
Oh, yes, they do.
So there you go. Okay, my next book I'm going to talk about is Teen Spirit. And this is a supernatural book, and this is young adult, and as you can tell, it has something to do with the Ouija board, which I know a lot of people think is really creepy, and I had one in my house growing up. Karen saying, no way, not in hers. Anyway, this is the story of Julie, and Julie's grandmother has just died, and she was extremely close to their grandmother, lived with her mom and her grandmother, and her mom totally basically loses it after the grandmother died, and you find out that basically the grandmother was kind of taking care of the mom as well as the granddaughter. The mom loses her job, they end up moving from this gorgeous house into this little apartment. Well, Julie decides she's going to try and use this Ouija board that she found in her new apartment that they moved into to contact her grandmother. That's not exactly who she contacts. She's doing it with a friend she met at school that she just met this guy, and he agreed to do it with her. Unbeknownst to them, they bring back his dead twin brother. He just died a year ago, and she didn't even know this had happened because she just met the brother, and he had died in a car accident, and he does not want to be dead. He comes back, and when he comes back, he possesses his twin that's alive. No one knows because he's still in the twin's body. Okay, so he basically is possessing his brother's body, and he's starting to have a relationship with Julie also, but she doesn't know. She thinks it's the original guy that she's met. She just thinks he acts differently sometimes. He acts differently because it's not really him. And when the one brother kind of wakes up, because it only lasts for maybe a couple hours at a time, he has no recollection of what happened, and he doesn't know what's going on. So they start putting two to two together when she says, well, when you came over last night, and he's like, I never came over last night. And then finally, it comes out that he's being possessed by his brother who doesn't want to remain dead anymore. So they have to find a way to basically send him back. And it's sad for the brother because he didn't want to see his brother die. It wasn't like he was a bad person. He just died before his time, and now he has to let go of him and teach his brother to move on. I really liked it. I thought it was different. I'd never read one about a Ouija board before, and it kind of made you feel kind of sad because imagine being a teen and you die before you ever have all these experiences that you wish you would have had, and now you're watching your twin brother get to live those experiences. So I would recommend this one. And if you like ghost stories and you read this one and like it, we've got some other ones that are about ghosts. This one is A Certain Slant of Light, And this is about a girl who's been dead for 130 years. And she has learned how to kind of attach herself to host people. She doesn't possess them, but she's attached herself to them. And no one ever knows she's there, but it keeps her in the living world. Well, one day she's attached to her host, and she sees a boy look at her, and he actually sees her. So she's like, what the heck, 130 years, somebody sees me? They end up falling in love, and she's got to figure out how to stay with him. I haven't read just a little bit of this one, but it seems really good. This one is Bad Girls Don't Die by Katie Allender. This is a story of two sisters. The younger sister, I think, is about 12, and she gets possessed by another dead little girl's ghost, and very creepy. We have Absent. This is about girls that are being killed at the school. Their ghosts are being attached to the school, and they're kind of haunting it. Paper Valentine, which I love. This is by Brenna Yovanoff. She also wrote The Replacements. This is about a serial killer and a ghost. It's about both of them. So, two great things in one for that one. And Anna Dressed in Blood. Also love this series. This is very graphic, very bloody and gory, but this is about a ghost as well. So lots of good ghost books if that's what you're into.
I do like ghost books.
Some
the
of these
only
are
thing
really
is, some
scary.
of those, like the Ouija board one,
Yeah.
some of those that can be too real.
Too real.
I mean, those.
A thing that was interesting in that one is at the exact time every night, he died at like 12:01 at midnight, and every appliance in the house that he's at, that he's haunting, whatever, will start shaking and making all these noise. And I think that would be really scary and kind of creepy. And you hear how supposedly spirits can kind of feed off electricity or.
So the twin that's being possessed, was he around when his twin died?
It doesn't ever really say that. You just know he died in a car accident. So, but I know that the one twin that's alive hates to drive. He's driving scares him, or being around.
So even though they were twins, they were very different in
yeah,
what they liked and didn't like.
The one who died was the real popular one, sports-minded. The one who is still alive is a little bit more, marches to his own drum. He's a little bit, a little bit more eccentric, not quite as popular and out there.
Now, the one that's going to see the girl, is that his girlfriend, or was that the one that died's girlfriend?
No, it was the one who's alive. He met her at school, and
But does the twin that's possessing him kind of fall for her too?
They
And now is there a tug of war sort of like thing?
They both like her, and she likes both of them.
Now that would be good. That would be very interesting.
So it was pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, what's your next one about?
I forgot to mention that this locomotive is written by Brian Floca. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. The juvenile book that I read is called The Rush Revere and the Brave Pilgrims. And this is written by Rush Limbaugh. And he is a history teacher. And along with his horse Liberty, they take their history students through an adventure. He does it, he time travels, but he does it in a way that the kids think that they're looking at a movie. They think that he's showing a movie through a projector. And he takes them to special events in history. And this one has to do with the travel of the Mayflower, of how the first Americans came here, and then the events leading up to the early Americans having a feast with the Native Americans. It's very, very good. The kids absolutely love it, and they always try to figure out, well, the students that are left in the classroom, he takes some students with him, and then the other ones, they stay in the classroom, and the students that stay in the classroom think that there's a horse in the room, but he's invisible sometimes, and they just can't figure out how this is all happening. It's very, very good. There's another one out called, I think, The Brave Patriots. Rush Revere and the Brave Patriots that I will be reviewing.
Rush Limbaugh wrote these?
Rush Limbaugh wrote these. They're a lot like the ones that Bill O'Reilly wrote, except Bill O'Reilly did the Killing Lincoln and Killing Kennedy.
Right.
And now he's got a new one out called, I think, The Killing of Jesus.
I didn't know that.
Is a new one that he just came out with. And then to tie all of this in, I watched the movie Apollo 13, which I think a lot of kids would really like. It's rated PG, but this might have been or no, I don't know if this one's PG. I don't know. I watched another movie. I'm kind of confused whether this one was PG or whether the other one was
Does it say on
PG.
the thing?
No, I don't know if it says it or not.
I think it does here in the corner. Let me see.
What's it say?
Well, that's too tiny. Can't read it. I think it's PG though.
Could be. Anyway, any little kid that has ever wanted to be an astronaut would probably like to see this film. However, it has to deal with, it's based on a book. It's based on the book Lost Moon, The Perilous Voyage of Apollo 13 by astronauts Jim Lovell and Jeffrey Kluger, which these characters, Tom Hanks played Jim Lovell, and Jeffrey Kluger was played by that Greg Sinise. Is that his first name?
Yeah.
Greg Sinise.
No, Gary.
Gary Sinise. Yeah, it was played by him. Anyway, Jim Lovell has always wanted to walk on the moon, and that was, this whole mission was for him to walk on the moon, but of course a problem arises. And they cannot walk on the moon, and they're not even for sure if they're going to even be able to make it back to Earth. You'll have to watch the movie to see what happens. But I had seen this movie a long time ago. I watched it again just to refresh my memory, but it's a movie I could watch over and over and over again.
This movie kind of freaked me out, I'll be honest.
Yes. You know, I cried because, I mean, the wife, you just
Outer
don't
space
know.
movies in general freak me out.
Well, that's true.
The
Well,
thought of being in outer space.
the thing that got
not
me
for me.
is all this stuff this debris that was coming off the ship, and all these things that, you know, they whenever, when the one part of the rocket goes away so that they can do whatever. This is just sitting in space. I mean, it's littering space.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, you know,
up there.
I don't know, I have a problem with that. I mean, I think I'm all for space exploration, but to think that we're littering space,
I know.
you know, I mean, come on. There's got to be.
We've littered everywhere else. We gotta move on.
Well, you know, and with technology the way it is, you would think that we could figure out a way that.
Clean it up.
Yeah. Can't they go with a vacuum or something and I don't know, retrieve it?
The thought though of like just floating around in space, like if you get left there or
that's it.
Broken apart, right?
Well, especially with this is how that movie is.
You're gonna be out there forever. I mean, that's just horrifying to me.
A small little thing that was actually a problem before they even took off, but they didn't realize it till they're up in space. And then, what was supposed to be a 4-day mission ended up being like 12 days.
Now, is this the movie where one of the guys gets sick up in space too?
Yes, he gets sick.
That would be me, because I get sick all the time, you know.
Yes.
So that would be me. I'd be in space. I'd be sick. No doctor. Yeah.
Yep, and that's I think he ends up with 104 temperature.
It's like a strep throat or something, I think.
I don't know what it was. Well, the Kluger guy, which was played by Gary Sinise, he was originally supposed to go, but they thought he was going to come out with measles. And so
maybe this guy is getting the measles. Maybe that's what it is. He didn't check. He tested negative, but then he gets it.
No, it's Kevin Bacon is the one who goes in Kluger's place.
No, I mean the other guy. He was still around him. I think it's played by Bill Paxton. I think that's the one that gets sick up there.
Could be.
So I think it might be that he started developing, but they didn't know when they tested him. He said he was okay. And
that could be.
Something.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton. I thought it was.
Yeah. Yep. And then Ed Harris plays the ground control guy that
they're staying in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the new one, Gravity?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either.
It's horrible. So
my daughter liked it, so I don't know, but
I don't know.
Like I said, I don't like space shows, so
I do because I just got done watching the other one that was based. I cannot remember the name of it. Apollo 18, which was actually based on a true story that the government never let out until now. Yes, where they do land on the moon, but there's aliens.
Oh, here we go, aliens.
Yes, aliens. And so it was documented, and I don't think only one of the 3 made it back alive.
Yeah, I think I have heard that story. Yeah.
Yes, and it was a cover-up by the government. You see the documents, and it's all blacked out. Mm-hmm. Yes, and this guy comes back to tell his story. And I don't know. And I think, I don't know if it's ever since then, we haven't gone back.
We haven't gone back in a long time.
Yeah,
I thought that just because we were becoming poor. We don't have money.
I don't know.
It costs a lot to go up there, and that our money isn't quite what it used to be.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
For something kind of,
Yeah. So it makes you wonder. Really, You know, were we ever meant to really go there?
I don't know.
Is that why there's so many problems and all that? Is that something we really? But the thing is, I know that this Apollo 13 really didn't have anything to do with American, but it's an Americana thing.
Right.
I mean, we all think of America, you know, when was it Armstrong was the first guy?
Mhm.
I
Yes.
hope I got my
Neil
history
Armstrong.
right.
It is.
Put the flag and
And
did
Buzz
the whole
Aldrin.
walk for
Mhm.
mankind and all that. I mean, that really put America on the map because
Right.
we were afraid
And
that
of
the
course
Russians were
he
going to
put
beat
the
us.
American flag on there.
Yes, he put the
right?
American flag, and I think it's
Right.
still there.
I'm sure, along with all the other litter.
Right, right. So, you know, it put America on the map, that this was a new frontier for us. And just as with the locomotive, you know, it expanded, it was able to expand the West. You know, a lot of people couldn't travel from east to west
Right.
until the locomotive came. And so now we're going into space travel. What's next?
I don't know.
Mars is next. People have already booked their tickets.
Well, they've been saying that forever, though, that we're going to be living on Mars.
Well, but, you know,
And if you
people,
kind of look back at Back to the Future movies, they had our year already on the Back to the Future. They had us on hoverboards, and
Yeah.
we're not there yet. But anyway, computer-wise, we've come a long way with that sort of technology, but no hoverboards.
that's true. Yeah, we don't have hoverboards.
Okay, well, this is our first installment. Let us know what you think. If you think it's better this way, you liked it the other way, we're going to keep trying it this way, and hopefully it'll get better and better as we do it more and more, and we'll keep trying to make it more entertaining for you. So enjoy your books, and this is our first segment of There's a Book in My Nook. We'll see you again next week.